Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So hope you might have enjoyed my previous video on building a discovery service. So now we are going to create an extended version of it, which is nothing but a gateway service. Okay, so what a gateway service is? It is an essential component in a microservice architecture which acts as an entry point to all the incoming requests. What basically it does is like, let's say we I'm going to the discovery module for explanation. Okay, let's say we have our user service running on 3001 and our product service running on 3002. Okay, so what will happen is like this service won't be exposed directly to the client, exposed to the client. By client, what I mean to say is like our front end app is a client for our backend services. So in order to access the data from these endpoints, what we will do, we will make a gateway controller and it will be attached to our existing port, which is a port 3000. We will discover both the services which are up and running, and by means of gateway controller, if we access the route user, we will fetch information from this port, and if we route product, we will fetch information through this port. So the gateway controller works like we are routing our data from microservices. So this is the basic fundamental of a gateway service. Okay, it centralizes the request by managing and monitoring and securing communication between clients and microservices. Okay, so now let's build a infra code for this. So we have to create a gateway controller. For that, the command is nest generate controller gateway. Okay, so as soon as I click on this command, I will get an option to create my gateway controller in either of the applications. Okay, as we know that we have three up and running services, two microservices, one is user, another is product, and discovery service is our main app. So as you are able to see, within our discovery app we are having a gateway controller. Okay, now let's code what will be there in the gateway controller. So I am simply providing you the code. And I will just fix all the prettier and lint issues. So this is not used. Also, like error is not locked. So I will just remove it. But remember, do not follow this kind of things. This is just for demo purpose. Okay. So we'll go through the code. So here you are able to say that we are able to accept all kind of incoming requests by making use of all decorator. Why? Because within our gateway controller we don't know which request of user service to access. Okay, so we it might be a get request, it might be a post request, it might be a put request, it might be a delete request, or any other type of request. Okay, so that's why we are accepting all the kinds of incoming requests, and we will accept a port within the request instance, but our port will be in a string form while we are making use of this decorator. So we are converting string to an integer. Then by means of the discovery service, whichever services are discovered, we are finding a port matching to our requirement. Okay, and if at all any service is not found, we will simply throw an error. Elsewhere we will create a proxy middleware for our target service. Like we want to access the data from user, so we will target the port 3001, something like this. Okay, and we have set of another options like path rewrite. So what it will do is like it will rewrite the incoming request, and it will proxy all our requests and response and the next body. Okay, so our entire request instance is fetched and sent to the user or the product microservice. If at all any error occurs in this process, we are throwing an error that we have some internal server error while forwarding the request. Okay, so just one more thing we have to do is like we have to register our gateway controller within the discovery module so that we are able to access the endpoint. Okay, so now what I will do, I will simply start my gateway controller. I will start my user service by nestcli command, which is nest.user and nest.product. Okay, so I will use Thunder client to access the HTTP request. Okay, so let's say our main service is running on 3000. We will check our user service and our product service is working or not. So yeah, our user and product service is working. So we will call the gateway controller directly, and we will mention the port here. So here you are able to see that we are not getting any requests because we haven't discovered it yet. So we will call our discovery service once. So discovery service will register all our ports services which are up and running, and then let's call our product service. So we are getting the required response. In our user service we are getting a like the response that is expected. So inside the user service you might be able to see that I have created a cats controller for demo purpose. So let's say I am calling the cats route, find all cats, so it will return all the cats. Let's say I am posting a cat, so this action will add a cat. Now let's say I am deleting a cat, so for that I need to provide a cat ID, let's say 123. So this will remove the cat having an ID of 123. So you are able to see that how by having the main instance running, we are able to call microservice and fetch data in the main service, and we are also able to return the desired output. Let's say we are calling a service which don't exist, so you will straightforwardly get a not found error that uh, this specific port is not found. And let's say if I am hitting a port which is not available, so it will straightforward give a response of not found. Now I am closing the user request for an instance to check the response. So let's say I am calling port 3001. So we will get a proxy error that the port that you are trying to access, we are getting a proxy error. Okay, so we are not able to proxy this specific port at this specific service is registered but not up yet. So once this service is up, we will get the desired response. Yeah, so once the service is up, we are able to get the information from that specific service. So that's it from my end in the gateway controller. We will build more things on top of NestJS. So I hope you are subscribing to the exciting content of building more applications through NestJS. Thanks for watching my video.